All right, welcome back. Module 6. We are making progress. I hope that you are really excited and that you're already feeling transformed by the way some of this content and some of these ideas, and especially as you go do the exercises and think through this and do the different things. I hope you're seeing a transformation in your life and in your mindset, and that you are feeling freed up to embrace marketing as an amazing opportunity to share your message online and something that you can free yourself to do and to do in your own way as you, in a way that fits you and that you feel good about in your business. This is all about helping you find an approach to your marketing that you love doing every day, because that is how you will truly stand out. If you're daily loving doing your marketing and you consistently just putting out authentic content that comes out of who you are and what you're doing in the world, and you've freed yourself to just do that process, your marketing will become effortless. It will become a part of who you are, and it will attract your ideal people to you who love what you do, who are part of your mission, and it will just create this amazing synergy and take your business to the next level. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're experiencing that. Can't wait to hear about it. Um, all right, we talked about message in the last module, and I forgot to mention, so I'm going to tell you now that the first 4 modules we focused about internal things, right? Like the why you do it and what you're fighting against and what do you believe and giving yourself permission to do it. All of that was very like internal mental and emotional work, right? Just internal, inside your own brain, inside your head, thinking about all of this and how to equip you to approach it, right? So modules 5 through 8, which we started the last one with message, are about external. They're about, bringing your message and your impact to the world, and they're about turning outward. Instead of inward, we're going to focus outward, and I hope you loved the last video about message. If you haven't watched it yet, you can watch this one, that's fine, and then go watch it. But before you watch 5 and 6, make sure and watch the first 4 modules, because you'll see in module 5 where I talk about message, I really kind of build on that internal thought and emotional work that you're going to have done, and then talk about how to use that to create a content plan that just resonates with you and that you love and that you can execute, because it taps into all of that deep internal work that you've done and is a firm foundation for writing up and figuring out that core message. So today in this video, we're going to talk about creativity, and I just want to tell you that being creative is your birthright. Like creativity, we are meant to create, we're meant to grow, we're meant to expand in our lives. And so if you've been listening, you know I'm passionate about fighting despair and inaction and feeling stuck. I got to a point in my life where a lot of my gifts and dreams and things that I want to do kind of went dormant, and it's okay because I had this amazing season of young motherhood, but I do see how it could have been different, been a little better. So that's on my heart to help young moms and help people who help young moms kind of be in a better mental, emotional, holistic place as they raise their young kids. But basically, I had kind of a rebirth of my creativity and my vision, and I started growing again. And I I believe that creativity can be the secret sauce that really helps you stand out. If anything is as exciting as what we talked about in the last module about pulling everything else together, it's creativity. And I want to just share some thoughts with you about how embracing creativity and applying this idea can free you even more in your message. And it's going to tie into structure when we get to structure in the last module. And I want to challenge you to use this principle of creativity to rethink your business model and your content a little bit. Okay, so my first thought for you is that you don't have to do this, but I want to suggest, I want you to picture, what if the very best idea that you've got right now, that you might charge somebody to sit down and to watch a course or to be with you and for you to tell them this idea, What if you put that in your free content? I'm not saying to do this, but I want you to picture this. What if you did that and then people were amazed and drawn to the quality and the inspiration and the idea, and they saw that you were somebody who had that idea? What I want you to believe is that if you wanted to, you could do that. You could give away your single biggest, best idea that you've got today, even if you feel like it's something that took years or took hours or took a while to develop. You should be able to believe confidently that you could do that and you would get a better idea tomorrow. And I believe that that's true. Now, I don't believe that you should do that until you're financially and business model wise like set up in a way to do that, because it is super, super important for you to identify something that you have that's valuable, and maybe that's your most creative, best idea right now. It's important for you to give yourself permission to package that and charge people for it. So if you're selling that, good, that's amazing. I almost don't want to, as women, we can sometimes, some of us, many of us, in different ways, I think, be challenged to be confident enough to sell something. So if you're doing that, do that. But my point with this, with creativity, is the excitement that I want you to have for the idea that you could get tomorrow. So I believe that in our culture, we live in a consumer culture, right? And the way that you can, the single simplest, most powerful way that you can, the most powerful mindset and practice that I believe you can cultivate in your own life to stand out and build a business is to become a producer instead of a consumer. While other people are watching Netflix, you are researching and brainstorming and talking to people and writing out and then creating your own course. You're recording videos, you're creating content, you're developing a program. You're doing the creative work of thinking while other people are watching something that somebody else created, right? Now, I am all about doing some Netflix to like chill out and like calm your brain. I do that for like 1 hour a week because the rest of the time I am too excited about brainstorming the course videos that I could put in this course that I could get out to you guys that could be a pivotal part of my coaching program and free up what I tell people when I work with them in my coaching, because I've already thought through this foundation that they could watch this, and then if I take the time to record these videos that my clients and people who buy the courses and then become my clients, if they watch that material, then I can go deeper and I can maximize the impact that I have with them one-on-one, because I've established a common structure of my values and how I approach things and how I think about things and my terminology, just the words I use and the ideas that I want to talk about. And then we can go deep when I have coaching sessions with people. We can go deep and I can talk to my clients. When we're talking about message, I'm not saying everything I said in the last video. I'm literally, mapping out with them a quarter of their content, or this month or this week, everything that they're going to put out their content everywhere, and talking to them through them about how they feel about it, right? So for you, I want to challenge you to cultivate creativity in your life. And if you want some fun, little, easy to read books about this, I highly recommend Steven Pressfield. His little book, Do the Work. You can read it in like an hour, and it's just super fun. It will get you unstuck and unlock, and it'll get you believing that you can be creative, and you will feel like an artist by the end of it. And whatever artistry looks like for you, an artist that can be, recording a podcast, it can be doing video, it can be doing painting, but for most of us, it's not painting, it's writing or anything, any kind of creative thing where you are pulling together your ideas and your imagination and your skill set and your passion, and you're creating a unique thing that's yours, that's going to meet somebody's need in some way. So, and then especially if you walk through the exercises in the last, kind of the writing prompts that I gave you for just writing out your like list of topics and ideas for what you could write about that would be the topics to support and convey your core message to your people and to the world. If you do that exercise, you're going to feel really creative by the end of it, and you're going to be thinking of more ideas and more ways to, it's just creativity. Once you unlock it, you just start thinking. Like, I walk around all day, I'll be giving my son a bath or driving somewhere or making dinner or whatever, and I'll just have ideas. I just have ideas in my head, and it used to drive me crazy last year. I guess it still does. I have ideas faster than I can write them down. I have to write them down because then I go and I have time to write. So, action step for you. I hope I've encouraged you to think about what if you. I want you to get to the place where you're walking around and you start to have this divine inspiration. Like, you have these ideas and you have this, like, oh, you were thinking about this and you heard this and you learned that. You need to always continue growing. Always, like, find those people that are ahead of you and continue to learn from them. Like, read their books, consume their podcasts, talk to friends, challenge each other with ideas. But I want you to guard your time and make sure that you watch your ratio of time to getting in information, and make sure that you give yourself substantial time every week for your brain to connect the dots of things that you've learned and things that you've heard, and then think about who you are here to reach, and think about how you can DJ that content. The easiest way to start by thinking about message and creativity, you'll end up having original ideas in the process of it, but I find it can be easy to just look at content and look at think about the problems you want to solve, the enemy you want to fight, the process you want to help your audience go through, and then usually there's a really cool part of it that comes from the journey that you're on. So you need to always be growing and leading and thinking about how you're leading them in the growth process by being a role model of somebody who's constantly growing and learning, and always looking for the next thing that you're going to learn that's going to take you to the next level. And as you do that, that's why I'm always reading a new book, right? So as you cultivate that habit in yourself, and then as you cultivate learning from other people, find that space and that time and just start looking for it and figuring out what it looks like for you. I highly recommend journaling every day, definitely every week. And if you're a writer, or the thing about journaling is that no matter what you are, no matter what you are and who you do, journaling will help you to write down and capture what you think. It's so important for you to tap into and capture. Like, I'm developing a theory on this, but with journaling, I need to write this down. I believe that potentially the gateway to switching from being a consumer that just takes everything in, watches TV, listens to what everybody else is saying, comments maybe, and then just does it again the next day, and does constantly receiving what they should be doing, from everybody who's telling you what to do. The way to start flipping that script into exerting your own impact and becoming a leader and growing is to find the time to give yourself the mental space to listen to yourself think. Steven Pressfield says something really funny about how he doesn't think anybody has a unique, or maybe he said about himself, he said he didn't think that he had a unique thought until he was 30. And I think for many of us that's true. He kind of, in that book, Do the Work, he kind of talks about this idea of chatter and how it can become resistance, which is kind of one of his main ideas in that book. Basically, just this idea. I had this happen to me a couple weeks ago where I got saturated with in the last couple months. I knew I was intentionally in this place where I bought books and I found some courses and I found some people on YouTube, and I was like, I just knew that I was hungry and I was thirsty and I just needed. I'd kind of been in a toxic environment, and there was some part of me that I knew I just needed to switch out the voices I was listening to and switch out the people that I was connecting with, and just fill myself with faith-based influences and hopeful people and new information. And I was switching, I had like a fundamental skill set, but then I was also kind of pivoting and needing to learn some supporting skill sets that I didn't have. So I was learning, growing, just taking in so much information. And then all of a sudden I got to this point where I was like, whoa, I've listened to people who said this, and then I've listened to other people who told me the opposite thing. I can't just listen to everybody. And I really had this place where I was like, well, okay, I got to put myself on a research diet. I got to put myself on a planning diet. I've got to slow down. And my mentors and friends, people who were ahead of me on this journey, you know what they kept telling me? They kept telling me to journal. And you know what happened when I finally started listening? I was like explosive growth, and everything that and clients started showing up, and just everything that I had been, you know, looking for and hoping for and preparing for started to happen. And this clarity, this that had just been elusive, it finally it began to come, and I could not believe how swiftly it came. And what happened was that I started to journal every morning, sometimes twice a day. Every time I got anxious, I would stop and I would write down what I was thinking. And something incredibly powerful happens when you write down what you're thinking, because you get to, especially if it's fears or doubts or whatever, you expose them when you write them down, and they always become smaller on paper than they are in your head. And once you know what they are, you can bring the other side of your brain, you can bring your creativity and your faith and your hope and, you know, your best self, your to the process of deciding what to do with those thoughts. And you can intentionally change those thoughts, which changes your emotions, which changes what you do, which changes everything, right? So back to creativity, I want to encourage you to start a daily journaling practice, to listen to yourself, and to have faith that turns into this incredible excitement about the ideas that you are going to have. You are amazing. You have been blessed with a gift, and I believe that you will get divine inspiration and creativity when you realize that, when you give yourself permission to, okay, let me just tell you this. You, right now, already know everything that you need to know to go create something and lay out a plan for something that you're going to create that will change people's lives. Something where you get out of you the amazing thing that has been put in you, the gift and the resources and the talent and your unique perspective, your unique knowledge, your experience, the way that you can pull together what you've experienced and what you know to into this format that will help the right person. You already have everything that you need in order to do that. And I believe that if you embrace that and pursue that process, what you will need to do is you will need to spend less time. It will cost less money, because if you've taken lots of courses, I want this to be the last course that you buy for a while. And if you're watching this video because you're working with me, don't buy any more courses for a month. Give yourself the gift of stopping buying courses and believing that everything that you've already learned is enough. There is a thing right now that you should go create. So spend less time listening to other people and take more time to get out a blank canvas, a blank piece of paper, a blank screen. Um, get ready to hit record on whatever you record, and start to map out and brainstorm and create. And we're going to get into structure. Structure is huge, so I'll pick back up on this with the final module, because there will be a part of this where it's important to find a routine and to start to have the practice of showing up to a space and a time that you've designated that you're going to create. You're going to be creative. You're going to produce something that's going to be impactful in your business. And when you consistently show up in that place, even when you don't feel like it, even on the days when you aren't inspired, and you figure out those routines, when you expect the creativity to show up, when you show up, the creativity will come because it's already inside of you. All right. I think that's enough on that. Final encouraging word would just be that I want you to believe that if you needed to or wanted to or gave yourself time to, you could have your new best idea tomorrow, that your next best idea is coming. I want to encourage you, if you've got a lot of content, if you've got stuff that you've saved up, do one of two things. Either if you're creating stuff, either take the content and immediately organize it and structure into something that you're going to sell, or if you've got a new idea of something that you think is the next thing that you need to package and sell to help people, take this content that you've got and put it out there for free and use it to get yourself in front of and top of mind of people that you are doing that thing, so that that can use that as content, which we'll get into that. But don't be afraid. Don't ever feel like all you have is what you've already created. I think that would be the main point. I want you to really have faith that the best is yet to come, and that you could, just like you could meet the person tomorrow that could change your life and your business, you could have the idea tomorrow that could change your life and your business. So I want you to start to think really seriously about cultivating daily and weekly practices to make space to invite that truth and that creativity into your life, to become a producer and a creator instead of a consumer, because the world needs your gift, and the one thing that you absolutely have to do is find that time to create, to get that next best thing out of you that God wants to give you for the world. Because if you do all of the rest of this, but you don't start to create and produce, it's going to just stay inside of you and it's not going to come out. So you're amazing. I can't wait to see and hear about the things that you create to help your people. So, all right, I will see you in the next video.